jungle.
I'm liking their itemization. It's pretty standard, pretty cookie cutter on the side of Aurora, but I like the routes that they're going so far. The Shivas on the Quap, they know they're playing versus the Aurora plus that Omni, potentially go for like Lincolns and Lotuses later. We'll absolutely see that on Aurora. Heroic. They're trying to find these pick-off opportunities, but Aurora has definitely been one step ahead, at least, or one step better this game than the last one. A lot because of Mira. Honestly, just watching this bounty, I don't know if we have heat map or anything, but I'm sure that it's all over the place. He's been literally just giving information for the team.
This time, you know, they don't even want to mess around with him, at least not initially. They'll blink away on Divide. We'll still throw out the dust. But
Orang terboga orang.
The definition of invisible impact, right? They got scared because they thought it was a smoke movement, but it was actually just a bounty. So, minus 80 for the dust. And minus quite a bit of time and plus information. So Aurora continue to get those creeps.
Anjay, rambut kanan gua jelek banget ya.
Difference between him and Joe.
They'll see an opportunity to get a quick, easy kill here. Won't hold back. Quick Omni Slash to take the dragon down.
Rambut kanan gue jelek banget ya.
More than happy to pop these ultimates here as the game starts to slow in pace.
Heroic just, it does feel, I know they were mentioning on the panel, I felt like this actually was more of like an acceleration, but this one does feel like they're more content with just chilling and farming. Not really forcing as much as we saw them do in that last one.
Oh, they'll go for a smoke move here, but of course this will be as their own Aegis is about to expire. And as we saw, you know, they don't have the Omni Slash to allow Yuma to really fully commit for this smoke play. So it's just going to be between the two of them, Whisper and Schofield for now.
There's a lot of damage between the two of them. It's only level 1 Sky ult, but it should be enough.
Double of Raw into the Mystic Flare, the Ancient Seal. It's indeed enough to even take down the Slaughter at this point.
And the next one will be a level 2 ult from the Skyrest, so it'll be much easier for them to actually just go for that heads up there. As we see Whisper, he's known for Manta, by the way, on the Beastmaster. So looking for Dispels versus the Corrosive Haze and Track in particular. Mira.
Eyes on him this time. They're not afraid of him. They'll head in with the Stampede, but backup is available for Mira with the Ice Bar coming in. And Nightfall jumps in with the Ghost Drag, takes out Schofield in a couple of hits. And that time, you know, he's going to put a stop to that right now from Makoto.
No hesitation. God Strength was used. So let's see if Heroic, when they do respawn in the sky, if they want to try to do something with that cooldown being utilized. Theirs are going to be coming back up. The Roar, level 18, he will have it back at the ready. He's just done so much for the team to at least give information, but Heroic is still keeping themselves at this 3K lead. Towards these Dispels in particular, right? The Lotus, the Manta, that Corrosive Haze in particular, not going to be nearly as effective anymore.
In terms of timing overall, does anyone on each side feel worse if the game does continue to slow down into the later stages? Like as the game scales on, are you more confident around the Sven or around the Jug for the traditional?
I think traditional going to Jug as it gets to the super late. The Jug out is reliant on your right, but we'll have to see.
Trying to get the lead in onto Wally, but at this point, both teams really having the sort of mid-game itemization that can bail one another out if it's not a full commit from the enemy team.
My real big worry is just that Heroic is going to have this like really hard carry, and maybe even potentially two of them with the Beast, and they've got these auras. They're going to have they're going to have the Chen and the Centaur auras, and Aurora's not going to have any auras. They're going to literally have 0. I actually don't know what aura Aurora is going to have on their team in comparison, which can really make a difference in these team fights.
Right. The big hits coming in from Nightfall.
Probably the biggest kill they can find. That's the gem.
I mean, at this point, with Davis coming out, it's just how quickly they can kill even the tankier targets. They'll turn over the wards. Schofield on the Skyraft. Sonic Wave comes in.
Nice.
Photo cleans up the two of them.
Really, really nice plays. Roche is coming up pretty soon, too. That explosive damage from the Sven going right through the Centaur.
All right. They want to try and put something together to contest this Roshan. Still super strong on the Juggernaut. I think the play's done on Yuma.
Definitely a chance that the auras might not matter too, right? Because of how much damage Nightfall.
Sure, he just
it's really
interesting.
It's really interesting to see how this game is going to play out. As we've gotten to pretty much the mid game at a completely even in terms of gold. Experience also actually very, very close. Just now dipped into Auroras. It's been very, very close this entirety of the game.
Absolutely making a difference coming into this game too. Aurora with that switch up in style.
Yeah, try to just match aggression. I think this is what you have to do when you're playing versus Heroic. I don't think you can play the late game Mira, with this gem, this is going to do quite a bit of work. Just doesn't have to be as worried himself about getting picked off constantly, and then he's going to take out probably quite a bit of wards, too. But look at Heroic. They're sitting creeps. Perhaps they do feel like they're going to be content with it if it does get to
I mean, that's the thing.
later stage.
Are they content in just letting that Roshan go? Because Roshan's back up.
I think the Roche will definitely look to contest. They have everything up in the ready.
Aurora, they're in with the smoke. Heroic, as you say, very much ready to
Pun.
at least respond to any sort of attempts from Aurora here. Mira's going to head up to try and scout things out. They'll immediately make the jump onto him. Kill him off. Nightfall comes in.
Berarti aingnya Dota ini.
He's in trouble. He'll stampede away. The screen comes in. It's not enough to kill him.
Dota,
Divide
yeah.
will survive.
That's a lot used from Aurora.
That's the Sonic Wave and the God Strength. To back off for now, Aurora.
Oh, I mean, it initially looked a little like Heroic kind of stacked up for the Ice Path. There's 3 heroes. It looked like potentially they could get cleaved down, but now it's Aurora using all their abilities right before the Roshan.
And Divide has just enough to live through that. Nightfall, he'll be back in. Those scepters there, though. Gonna put him off from trying to commit any further on towards Schofield.
They're going to start this Roche pretty soon here when Yuma wants to connect over. He still has Omni Slash, maybe waiting for the level 20 before he joins in.
I mean, and as you said, would you imagine what with the cooldown situation of Aurora, you just kind of have to concede it, or can you still try and do something?
It's pretty difficult to contest that one with the Sven and the clock don't want to show up, so you might just have to YOLO play with one of the others to go for it. Let's see what the call is going to be. 30 seconds still on God's Strength.
Ya, bawa Senarti aing.
They want to put a stop to this, and they can't. Heroic, they get away with this one. The Aegis onto Yuma this time round. Yeah, Aurora, after heavily committing in that play just before, they didn't have what it took to try and take Heroic down around the Roshan.
Just really smart. Really set plays coming in. Heroic into getting that kill.
Back to the farm here for Aurora. They're going to have to deal with yet another timing of the Aegis on Heroic.
The good thing was, of course, the Mira did place the gem back at base, right? So they didn't lose the gem that they had stolen when he did go for that one-up play. So making sure to just keep it moving. But now with the protection of this Aegis, he's going to get into a really comfortable spot, because with this butterfly too, we always mention for the Svens, they don't really like to build for those MKBs, so we'll have to see what Nightfall wants to do versus that core-to-core matchup. That's why I kind of like this, like Jug versus the Svens in some type of ways.
Yeah, you don't really have to change your own build-up at the Jug. As he says, with Sven, you've got to make some decisions.
Yeah.
Whether or not it's going to be your job to be the one to deal with the Jug, or if you can kind of rely on team around you to help take him down.
Another pretty annoying thing too is just like these little ghost scepters as we're seeing, right?
Ayo, insyaallah. Tanya pun, kapan aing main Valor gak kejar-kejar pun.
That's definitely annoying for Nightfall.
Yep.
Because it's not only the FPS, like,
Kapan aing main Valor gak
there's
kejar-kejar.
so many different things. It's like you can't have all these items on a Sven, and normally you don't want to have either of the two of them. You got other things you want to be building up. So
It's like Toronto, Tokyo probably has to, or maybe eventually will have to go for the Nullifier, but he wants to go for his own build first, and he might need Ags, BKB before that. Probably not BKB actually in this game, but at least the Ags he wants to have before he wants to go down that route. This is a very slow-paced style game. It's like one kill, team explosive versus bad reset, maybe just efficiency and objectives. And so far, at least in terms of efficiency, we're seeing that edge. There's an hard the game.
yeah, absolutely. With Roshans, with the Tormentors, and with sort of the overall situation at the towers.
That being said, I mean, Mikoto is still having a phenomenal game. Same thing for the Sven. It's just that slight edge, at least in terms of gold, and those objectives for the side.
Catch the bite. Catch on the support, Ollie. The ice path out. But nobody else is going to stick around to try and help him. They just let him go down.
Holds on to that Omni as well, too, because he doesn't want to waste that ever onto a support. And he's gone for the Basher build, so maybe a slight pivot, you could say, on the Jug in some ways, because he's playing versus the Sven. This is what you build when you wanted to be able to stand toe-to-toe.
Serius, gua mah gak pernah ada bomnya tuh.
So that's an expensive one, taking out the recipe for the Shivas of Divide. That's a very, very valuable snipe there. Got to be careful with these couriers with Mira out on the prowl.
That's 2 minutes that he's not going to have it finished up. Tower will fall. Whisper does have an amp damage at the ready for the fight.
How are we doing on the Aegis? Just
Mikoto,
minutes left.
be so careful how he shows here. He's been playing flawless so far.
Tough to kill though now.
He is.
BKB, Divas on top of the Kaya Sanj.
If he gets roared pre-BKB, he dies.
Aura immediately out off the top side of the map as Heroic head up here. I know that Heroic's going to be looking towards trying to get this tier 2 with the last moments of the Aegis.
Toronto, at least for now, is queuing up the AC, so rather than going down that nullify route, they're just, I mean, everyone just, they're just looking to wait for these items, wait for the Aegis to go down. But another tier 2 is going to fall, so Heroic just continues to get a little bit more map control, it feels like. Yeah, what's going to happen when an actual 4-5v5 kicks in? Yeah. Is the Sven actually going to be able to stick on targets? Is he going to get kited out?
Okay, so far we've definitely seen that the overall freedom in the fights has much more so been there for the Jug.
Bit more, yep. Less things that he has to worry for sure about. Yeah. The Sven, if he gets caught on the hand,
back and taken out. Despite his attempt to survive there with the Lotus.
They're waiting to reset and go. Yuma was thinking about it.
One more. Let's get the crush on a Whisper. Whisper turns. Give me the bash comes in from Toronto. Tokyo. Whisper starts to hold back. Gonna lay down the dagger. The turn and the Omni Slash. The patience there from Whisper, holding back on the Raw to ensure that they can get the bigger kill, take out the quad. And we'll lose the Chen as King Jungles gets left behind. Overall, Nightfall able to get the favorable cleanup there, picking up the triple.
Right, Nightfall's pretty much two-shotting a lot of these heroes.
Tokyo, he's in. Closes the gap on the Whisper, gets him in with the crush. The buyback come out for Schofield. He can't save Whisper though. And
might be a rampage.
He gets the Ultra Nightfall and he wants more. He's thinking about it. Finds a little bit of safety here. Still expecting the jump, but now they're ready to jump. Get that rampage. They might even be able to Aurora, they're diving up beyond the tier 4s. They won't be able to get the jump, but Nightfall getting himself the rampage. There's still a tier 1 in this lane.
Gelo. Gelo, barijeng tekarti gelo.
Top here for Aurora after they pretty much chase them entirely from their own base all the way across the map into their base.
Literally a full map chase to get these extra kills. That was beautifully done. And what, Ice Path to start things off, it looked like, right? And they just get this beautiful cover up on the 2 heroes. Massive burst damage. Mikoto does go down. A nice little synergy ult that we see did come out there from Heroic, but Heroic maybe having to respect a little bit more how they're going to go for those high ground pushes. It's just too much explosive burst damage.
Let's see if Aurora can keep this up. They take the lead now on the net worth.
A lot of patience coming in. In Lotus Orb, you could barely see it, of course, there for a second, but they waited for the opportunity for Mikoto, but then afterwards, Nightfall with the chase.
They couldn't do anything about this Sven at this point. Starting to clean up, as we say, around his own base, and then ending up with this continued chase down to the fact that Toronto Tokyo was able to lead in. And ain't no buyback going to be able to stop the inevitable on this one here, folks. Schofield trying to offer up his help. But if anything, just ends up giving away that extra bit of glory to Nightfall. He's able to find the rampage off the back of him. That's, definitely a bit of a shake-up here to the series here from Aurora. Now getting this lead. And Heroic, maybe indeed the sort of the Jug, it's kind of difficult for you. But we saw obviously that situation. They were able to isolate the Quad, get the Omni Slash on towards the Quad. And that's great and all, but there's a Jug there's Sven that needs to be killed as well. So if everything's getting jumped onto the Quad,
and they're
starting to get this sort of cleanup.
And they're starting to get these items that are actually going to deal with the Jug very effectively too. They actually are getting the auras, right? They're getting the AC. It's done for the Slardar. I believe the Sven also, he has KB now to deal with him too. And he's going to get the Shard in a second too. So they're going to have plus 11 armor on the entire team as well on top of things for that Omni now.
Let's see what Aurora can do here with this swing of momentum into their favor.
Just a pretty big swing in momentum. See, Heroic is positioned here on the high ground. A fresh Abyssal has been picked up.
Both teams have all ultimates ready to go. Who's looking to start things? And then look for the jump in the who's the one or two? The Mystic Blade comes out.
Oh, anjing nih meta euy itu.
To safety. Nightfall pops the gun straight to the
Hilang anjing.
They've killed off Toronto Tokyo. Now it could be Heroic's chance to try and chase for more. Nightfall's BKB coming to an end. Trying to close in on the water Sven. Quickly turn and pretty much dispatch the army with a swift shot of his sword. Another 4-star to separate Nightfall from the chase of Heroic. Nightfall, he wants to get back in. Just
see at the top of the stream there, beyond godlike. Perfect situation that he finds there to catch the Slardar. During the Lotus or downtime, I believe, they get the catch on him with the Omni.
Oh, that's another like the courier snipe from Mira. He's taking out Shiva's guards. He's taking out Agnum Scepters from the Jug this time round.
Oh, and they're going tier 4.
They're going to try and push for it. And then they don't have the buyback available on the Sven. Oh, the Slardar.
Flip.
They're onto the tier 4s.
I think Yumekono has the buyback.
They have to. Okay, Mira, okay, he's getting the cover. He's put the face. The game. It's in jeopardy here.
The wave. There's a wave coming in top.
8 seconds until Torres back up to buy. He'll get the jump on to Ollie.
Nah, bun.
Protecting him. They're taking him out. Mira, go with the
Alusnya mim Cina ojur. Nah, ini setengah arti aing anjing. Dota.
So explosive and so good at coordinating these team fights. I mean, my goodness.
Moments ago, we had Aurora and we had Lewis chasing Aurora all the way to their base, getting a rampage. And then Aurora, they reset themselves. They take the defense around them, they chase them down. Nightfall goes for a bit of a Hail Mary play there on the Sven. He decides to try and turn and face the Jug, but they couldn't quite burst through Yuma. And at that point, the fight's over. The buyback's not there. They can't defend.
This is outrageous plays. Literally, I like a split-second solo crest, the little heal that they got onto that Jug during the jump. The Yules, I actually didn't see. I think it was Schofield Yules onto the Sven when he went for the jump. These little plays are insane. Heroic. This game was even for 35 minutes, and then in the last 2 minutes, they end the game.
Yeah, I mean, Yuma, just one death this game as the Jug. The decisions from him, and as you say, just as a team around that Jug, around their carry, we see it so many times, just how good they are kind of dipping in and out of the fights. Outside of getting rampaged, in those earlier moments,
Tadi yang hero no OP anjing.
like a game
Di
where
tengah,
getting
ke
this
tengah, ke ujung.
borderline impossible for Aurora.
Pai anjing.
From them as a team
Tinggal
members
ada.
and everyone else. But in that final moment where they tried to piece things together to go all in on Yuma in that minute as Aurora started chasing Aurora down, they couldn't quite do it. They needed to get that kill. They went all in on that play, and it just comes crumbling down upon them, Fog.
Yuma, honestly, for me, has been one of the most clutch carry players in quite a bit of games. There's some where it just looks like it can be maybe some difficult moments, but he clutches it out. He buys rapiers when necessary. 12-1-6 on this Jug. Yeah, I mean, of course, it's the team that's surrounding him, getting these small little bump ups and everything, but man, that was explosive last 2 minutes.
It's like, what? Aurora getting a rampage, and the next thing you know, the game's just over for them. At least for Aurora, definitely a stronger showing here in this game too, as opposed to what they're able to come up with game 1. But at the end of it all, Heroic just showing time and time again now through sort of these performances here today.
Performa is bakun.
Just how well they are adapting to different situations. Right, game 1 they get to play their play style. Game 2, the enemy changes things up, tries to match the pace. Overall, though, the outplays at the crucial moments, they still come out stronger from Heroic as a team.
Yeah, I mean, it's the team fighting, the spell casting, the itemization, this little Yules from Schofield that you maybe would never see any other skies by. There's a million things you can talk about for Heroic of how well they execute under pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to take a lot of looking in towards this team to see what to do to try and shake these guys up.
Yeah.
They seem to have all the answers as they come in strong here today and take the 2-0 to move on, knocking Aurora out.
All right, my friends, yes, that is right. We are here with Davai. What an incredible series. How are you feeling after coming out of that one?
Very good. Enjoy the games very much. We played very well. I think yeah, we can be very proud of ourselves. I think it's our first top 4 in a tier 1 event, depending how you define it.
Kata si Anan kesini bentar lagi cina pun.
All right, crowd, do you think they earned that top 4 spot so far, huh? Yeah, all right, all right, all right. What about to see you guys have a boring game, huh? You guys are always going some crazy shit all the time. It's always an insane early game or a rampage at the end. What's a, huh? Where's the boring game?
We're just we're fun people, you know. We're a fun team. We have good ideas, you know. Better to be interesting
All right. Well, are we going to see some more exciting fun coming up here? Is this going to continue on the heroic way?
It's gonna be better tomorrow.
All right. Well, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up one more time for the boys of Heroic. We send it back to the panel.
It's nice to get those winning moments, especially with Device, someone who loves to show emotion. He's talking about, well, it's always more enjoyable to be interesting. This game number 2, though, it felt like they were playing more into Aurora's playstyle, right? We slowed it down a little bit. We didn't see that high impact or that high aggression coming out from Heroic, but they're showing they can still win when they want to play that way too, Misery.
Yeah, I think this was a more impressive win than game 1 in my opinion, because they were under a lot of pressure from the Aurora draft. In my opinion, they had to really pull themselves together and play together as 5 and not make any mistakes, because it's a very snowbally lineup on the other side. So I think this was a nice win for them to take on for tomorrow.
Yeah, I think it was, you know, on the flip side, I think it was a pretty impressive recovery from Aurora. I think compared to how they looked in game 1, which was just the complete disaster. I think game 2, they had much better lanes. They did make some moves. They had gotten some kills. They pulled together a rampage at the end there somehow. So I think it was, you know, more of a breath of fresh air. But I agree with Misery that I think this is a more impactful win. They can sort of show how you can play from behind. We've seen them do time and time again that they're able to do that, and they prove it once again now that they're not just a team that can snowball. They can also play from behind. They're not a one-dimensional team.
I think it is a treat to watch Heroic, and just the general way that they play. I think, you know, Fog mentioned at the very end, like even making small item choices to fix problems. I think, you know, as much as the draft is important, the play is important, items are as critical. And you know, it's every little thing that Heroic does to make sure that they're always in the best position, to, you know, to be able to win out a game.
Yeah, I want to know more, though, how you guys felt about Aurora, because we're not going to be seeing them anymore. They got 2-0'd here, and so that means, unfortunately, for Blastland 4, we're not going to see them out on stage. And that game number 1, it kind of crumbled for them, but game number 2, it felt like there was just much more of a breath of life in Aurora.
Yeah, I think they had a little bit of hope in this game. But if I'm completely honest, I think they need to watch these replays. They need to go back to the drawing board a little bit, and they need to figure some stuff out, because while this was better than what game 1 was, is not good enough even still. And so I think if you're them, you need to work harder, because this was just not good enough gameplay.
Yeah. I'm going to echo that. I feel like for Aurora, it's been too long for an organization to just be an 8th place team. With the players that they have, the caliber that they have, after a year and a half, it's like I'm expecting them to be a top 6 team, a top 4 team at some point, and it just isn't working out. So yeah, I feel like they really need to kind of make sure that as they enter the end of 2025, entering the 2026 portion of the season, they need to step up their game, because again, expectations are high, but the play is just not matching.
They've got time. While it's not going to be in Blastland that they're improving, it is going to be much more time for them when, you know, sticking with this roster, what tournaments can come up. But you're talking about placements. How do you guys think about it? Devi almost didn't feel that excited that they made a top 4. What was going on with that?
Yeah, I mean, we also spoke about it earlier, right? And it's something that they think about too. So that's a very meaningful win, right? First tier 1 tournament, top 4. So good stuff for them.
Yeah, I mean, Devi is also a player who's been in, you know, you played in NA for a long time. When you're in the trenches for quite some time, I think you know, when you finally start to win, it's like, holy crap, it's actually possible. And so I know how it feels. I empathize with that North American feeling.
Yeah, well, look, someone who knows what it feels like to win. You are joining us on the panel here. How you feeling? I know it's kind of a late night, a little bit of jet lag after all the flying that's been going on here.
No, I think I'm feeling good. I don't really have jet lag.
Oh, really? You're like maybe the only one here that doesn't.
Oh, and I could sleep last night, thankfully. So, yeah, it's not really affecting. But I think some of my teammates got food poisoning, yeah, which was a bit sad.
Well, look, you couldn't tell. You guys were playing amazing today. You come in, get this 2-0. With this game number 2, though, it felt like such a different style from what we normally see for Heroic. You guys playing a little bit slower. How's the conversation go for you guys to go, hey, this is the play style we need to go, like, we don't need to be as aggressive as what we were in game number 1?
I mean, I think it just depends on the draft now. The second game, I thought that our lanes went a bit worse than they should have. Then we just decided to slow the game down, because we knew the moment we got items on the beast, items on me, like Sven is not really a hero that likes dealing with a fly, so with butterfly. So we just decided to slow it down, and it made sense, right? So I think it just depends on the game. I don't think we go every game and then we're like, we need to play fast this game or something like this.
I was curious how like the communication is like, switching out Nanoarm for Devi, because you know my perspective is that he's quite a vocal player, quite someone who wants to dictate things. And is like the who's communicating, who's leading changed, or is like the identity generally like similar? You feel?
You mean analog as a communicative player?
Yeah, analog compared to Devi. I feel like Devi is more of like the leader, sort of central piece type player.
Well, I feel like he used to be like this. I think nowadays like when he got back, he was not as vocal as he used to be. Surprisingly, I think that. I mean, he says it himself that talking too much sometimes can lead to having worse games. Like, so he's focusing more on himself. He makes the calls that he thinks are really good. But I think Whisper is doing an amazing job. Like the first game, he was the one kind of leading the early game, mid game. It was really good. Yeah.
I was going to ask about the roster change too, but I have a different question now. So, in the group stage, you guys played a lot of Enigma mid, Darkseid mid, maybe Mars mid as well, like flexing from the offlane to mid with Whisper, transitioning to mid. But you haven't really done that since then. Is that something? Was it just like a bit of a spur of the moment, randomness, or is it something you've been talking about? Or how come we're not seeing that as much?
I think it depends. It made sense some games. I mean, they banned our Enigma these games, if I remember correctly, and. Yeah, I think it's easy when you have two players that share similar heroes. You can just draft around it and make strategies around it. So I think if it makes sense, we'll do it.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
I'm just going to ask a stupid question. All right, so Devi in that previous game, he was like pinging the damage he did to Selamat and stuff in the series. Like, do you ever notice when your teammates like pinging damage they did, tips, like all these like
it's annoying.
It's annoying. Okay. Okay.
It is.
It is annoying?
Yeah, it is annoying.
Are you going to talk to him after the game and be like, boss?
Not really. That's just how he is as a person. He finds fun in it. Like, it's not against the enemy, disrespecting or anything. But yeah, it is how he is, and yeah, just have to accept it.
How much do you think that then influences like in like communication? Do you ever have games where you get, not you, but like as a collective, get like carried away with like a game's being won, it's like fun, or do you feel like you're more disciplined nowadays where a losing or winning game is kind of like the same type of game?
I think ideally that's the ideal scenario, right? Like being able to keep calm no matter whether you're winning hard or losing as well. But I think we are trying to be more disciplined because it can get out of hand, and we've thrown many games in the past because you can feel like it's too easy, and then you just end up throwing. Yeah.
I was curious about the draft in game 1, and then you also do some other stuff slightly in other times, where you're I think one of the only teams that picks cores on both 9 and 13, and you also do it where you pick core on 8 and then core on 14, 15. Is that just something that you all think is strong? Do you do this again? I mean, maybe you feel it's too secret, you don't want to talk about it, but is it something you do against specific teams, or just generally something you feel is strong to pick cores early?
To be honest, draft is mostly Caps, our coach, so I think he would be the perfect person to ask this. As much as I know like the strats coming for specific teams, I can't really say, to be honest. We just think it's good, we talk it off, and then yeah.
All right, I want to ask more of a you-specific question then. You're like that's chaos, I don't want to talk about draft. All right, we kind of got to talk about the incident that happened in Blast Slam groups, if you can infer where I'm going with it. The rapier, you ended up changing the hotkeys and things like that. How did you feel after it when you accidentally misclicked with it that you were so aware of it the next time you picked up a rapier?
In the TA game?
Yes.
I mean, to be honest, like, I don't think it would have changed that much. Maybe we could have killed was it the Sand King, if I remember correctly? But I don't know, I just realized in the game, like, sometimes you have too many buttons to press and then you can miss click, and Reaper is just one click, right? Like, if you click it, it's done. So, and then it was against Liquid, the AM game. I was like, okay, I don't want to make that mistake again. It's minute 60 something or 70. I was like, I'll just change it.
More importantly, what is that key normally for you? Like, what item slot is that? Is it like your wand, your treads? Like, what's the culprit?
I mean, Reaper didn't really have an item slot specifically for me until... Yeah. It's one.
Yep. But what do you normally use one for?
Yeah, what do you normally put?
When there's no rapier there, when you're normally playing a traditional game, an honest game with no rapier, like what's the slot used for?
An honest game of Dota.
Outside of your Meepos or whatever, yeah.
Well, it can be BKB.
Okay. Right, that's fair. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're kind of one of the only carries really picking up rapier? Do you feel like this patch there's just more rapiers showing up in games? Because that's how we feel when we watch. We're just like, oh, okay, there seems to be a rapier in every second pro game now.
I mean, I think the item is underbought. I think it's, I mean, I understand that it's very if you lose it, you lose 6,000 net worth, and you might lose the game. But it's like even in even games, sometimes rapier can be the item that wins you the next team fight, because you can clearly see the difference when you have a rapier and when you don't. Like, you ignore some of the tanky heroes, let's say.
All right. Well, look, I'm sure we could sit here all night, keep talking to you about this, but you still have another series to play when it comes to tomorrow, so we're going to let you rest. Thank you so much, Yuma, for joining us. Congratulations yet again. Just an absolute pleasure to get to watch Heroic play on stage. We'll have that pleasure tomorrow as well. Will it be another duo? Who knows? It will definitely be a best of 3. And the answer there, do you feel like, okay, now you know Heroic a little bit better, more inside and out?
Yeah, I think it's always cool to hear the perspective. I think they all seem like on a very even keel after the win. They're not, buzzing too hard. They're not like going crazy. And I think, he said they were trying to be more, sort of structured, throw a little bit less, be a little more calm. And I think you can kind of see that. And I think it's a really good direction for them to go in. And I'm glad to hear that they're working on that, because I think that is, a problem that this team has had historically, is they go a little too crazy, they throw a little too much. And so pulling back on that, and I think you look at the most successful team of the past year, which is Falcons. They sort of pride themselves on that structure and being able to remain calm in tense games. I think working on that a little bit more and taking a page out of a very successful team's book, I think is great by them.
Well, look, we need to look at the other side as well, because whilst Heroic are moving on and facing Falcons, that's the team we're talking about, keys of success there. Unfortunately, Aurora not finding success here. This game number 2 was better for themselves, but in this best of 3, they just fall short, and it does end their run here at Blastland 4.
Hey, Ollie, I'll keep this short. That last game, it looked like you guys had a really good start to it. It looked like you guys were doing it. What, in your opinion, went wrong in that game number 2?
In game number 2, I think we giving like a lot of free roach. I think they just get like 3 roach in a row, and we shouldn't do that because we have initiates on Selamat and Sun, but we just like didn't do well. So they get the free roach, we cannot do anything. That's just kind of pushing, and it's hard for us to like get going to kill them when they have Aegis. So I think that's the problem.
And where do you think you as a team, as Aurora, went wrong in this blast fight? How come you couldn't make it to the final day, in your opinion?
In general, I think we do kind of prepare like some hero for us, but it's just like it's not that strong enough, because we kind of just losing with our best hero. So we have to change a bit, and it may not be our most comfort, but we are trying to.
Okay, and of course, there's a lot of people watching, both in the arena at home. You're on the home turf in Southeast Asia here. Do you have anything to say to all the fans that have been cheering you guys on?
Thank you everyone who is cheering for us, and without you guys, we wouldn't make it here. So thank you.
Thank you, Ollie, and good luck on the next one.
Thank you.
Ollie giving so much information. It's such a skill to be able to be so reflective in such a short period after a series, after the games there. And, it was very critical. I think that just comes hand in hand when you are a pro player there. But it's nice to be able to hear it. He does give us all those words. And I do look forward to them trying new things and finding success with it. There is so much more to come.
They are a team that the things haven't clicked for. We've already seen other, other European, but teams in Europe, like Liquid, for example, that didn't make it to the playoffs. They have high expectations. It didn't click. I think BB is the best example from the group stage where things didn't click. Suddenly they're second place in the tournament. It just takes one conversation, one thing within the roster, and then the caliber of these players will shine and they'll get there. But again, they need to have that conversation and the ability to reflect on these losses.
We had 2 best of 3s today. We said goodbye to Spirit in an absolute amazing 3-game best of 3, and then of course just then saying goodbye to Aurora, and that leaves so much open. It feels like there is no clear winner when we look at matchups going forward, Quinn.
Yeah, I think it'll be super exciting to see how the 2 top dogs who didn't have to play through that first round, how they'll be faring. They've watched a lot. Sometimes it can be weird to enter a tournament and to just be watching so many games while other people play, other people are warming up. They've already had an experience playing on the stage in front of the crowd, and so I think it'll be it'll be cool to see whether, you know, Tundra and Falcons are up to snuff, or if the other teams have built up momentum and they're gonna boop and knock them down.
Yeah, that's always a big one to have a question mark around, and only time will really tell. But the times of our games tomorrow, well, you get to see them right now because we are going to be having Mouse up against Tundra. That's going to be kicking us off at 3 p.m. Singapore time, and then it's going to be following Falcons and Heroic in Missouri.
I mean, from watching the games today, I actually feel like the matchups are a lot more even than... I mean, we talked about the Tundra Mouse matchup earlier, right? But I think even the Falcons Heroic matchup is a lot more even. I think this might be one of the hardest games Falcons will have to be playing, like, for the last few weeks. I think Heroic looked really strong, and I think they have so much momentum going into tomorrow, and you know, just the vibes they gave away and the feeling of this team. Just, I think it's gonna be a close one.
Yeah, not about that. It's just win-win for tomorrow. All right, Tundra Mouse, we've got SE play on one team, SE play on the other team. No matter what, in the grand finals, there will be... Come on. And also mid one, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, no matter what, our grand finals will have a SE player in the grand finals fighting up against either, you know, Falcons or Heroic. But I feel like, yeah, it's quite nice.
Well, you're already getting ahead of yourself.
Yeah, of course.
That grand finals, that's all the way on Sunday. What stands between our top 4 being a top 2 is going to be a best of 3. And, of course, another day here at Singapore Indoor Stadium. We'll see you guys tomorrow, 3 p.m. for the game start, 2 p.m. for anyone who loves all of the pre-show action.
Iya pun. Bukan gue ya. Ada apa sih? Pinggir jalan banget kan? LD pending anjing, LD pending apa itu mah? Mereka juga mau nggak mau udah bersahabat ditaruh. Malam-malam udah duduk gitu, kira siapa tadi ya? macam-macam. Dapat pakai steroid itu dia. Ya, apa itu? Panas ya itu katanya. Untuk baik kita panas ya itu berarti ini apa? Nah, iya juga. Maka juga kalau tadi waktu pembelian kemarin sama dua, kita pernah satu karena mau apa? Mau tahu pernah. Udah pakai ya? Oh, udah tahu tadi kan. Cuma katanya jalan dekat. Gua kira ke jalan yang sana ini. Tadi kan niatnya Aing mau jalan sama si ini, Jadrin. Cuman katanya motor ambil aja. Ya udah Aing ambil. Ini dompetnya bukan punya gua. Berarti lu rumah yang tadi dijual? Itu punya orang. Kontrak itu kan. Udah yang